to all. Today's session is for GNM Nursing first aid students. The topic is first aid management of fracture. So in today's session we will discuss what is the fracture, what are the causes of fracture, what are the signs and symptoms, what are the types of fracture, and what is the first aid management of fracture as a general management, not specific but as a general management. And then also, what is the first aid management if there is a spinal, head and the neck injury, or there is a fracture of the spine, head and neck. So fracture means breakage of the bone. So we can define fracture as a complete or the partial break in the bone. The break can be a partial or it can be complete. We can also define the fracture as break in the continuity of the bone. Now, there are so many causes of fracture. For example, the person falls from height, or the person had a road traffic accident, or the person is very old, the person is having bone disease condition. So all these are the causes of the fracture. So let's discuss one by one. First is high force impact or the stress. This can occur if the person collided with a truck, car, or during playing. Also, the person may get collided with the other person who was running very fastly. Then trauma, any injury, any fall, any accident in the old age people, and because of the medical conditions such as osteoporosis. In this, there is the bone density get lost, and therefore the bones become very weak and the brittle means they are very easy to break. Then what can be the sign and symptoms? Swelling and tenderness around the injury. Tenderness means when you touch that part it will be very painful. Then pain, the movement will be restricted. For example, there is a fracture of the elbow, so the person will not be able to move the elbow, move the arm, right? Then there may be bruising and the bleeding. There may be deformity which may occur later on. There may be sensation of grating, a noise sound, or when there is a fracture there will be a sensation, a grating sensation, a sound will produced like the bones are rubbing to each other. Then area may be bent at an unusual angle, and when you try to mobilize that part the person will be having very so much pain. Then there may be weakness and inability to bear the weight. Then what are the types of fracture? There are many types of fracture: open, closed, comminuted, green stick, avulsion, crush or the compression, hairline, impacted, longitudinal, oblique, spiral, pathological, stress, transverse. So this is the open and the closed fracture. In the open fracture, the bone will protrude out through the skin. There will be open wound and the bone will protrude out through that skin. While in the closed, there is no any breakage of the skin and the bone is broken down, but there is no any breakage of the skin. Simple fracture, it is simple. It means there is a bone fracture only and there is no any damage to the surrounding tissue or there is no any breakage of the skin. While in the compound, there is bone fracture. Also there is a damage of the surrounding structures and the breaking of the skin. And then transverse. In this diagram, there is an illustration of many types of fracture. First is transverse. Transverse, it is a straight break in the horizontal direction, right? Then in the linear, it occurs along the length of the bone, right, in the linear way. Then oblique, it is diagonal to the bone long axis. It is diagonal of the bone long axis. It can be displaced or it can be non-displaced. In the non-displaced, the bone is present at its normal alignment, while in the displaced it is misaligned in other direction. Then in the spiral, one part of the bone has been twisted. In the spiral fracture, the one part of the bone is twisted, then green is taken. This is partly fracture on one side, but it does not break completely. The bone can bend easily and it is most commonly seen in the children. Then comminuted means the bones, there is a fracture, the bones are broken down into many pieces. Now I told you non-displaced and the displaced oblique fracture. So what is happening in the non-displaced? The bone is cracking all the way through or its part, but it is not moved and it maintains its proper alignment. It is broken, but it is in its proper alignment as it was normally before. Okay, but in the displaced, it will not be lined up straight, it will be misaligned. Then impacted fracture happens when the impact on the bone is from one of the ends and the force run straight up the bone. The bone will break down and two ends of the fracture are pushed into each other. Impacted fracture means there is a breakage of the bone and one bone is pushed into another bone. Then avulsion fracture. Avulsion, in the avulsion fracture, a small piece of bone breaks away from the rest of the bone because it is pulled too hard by a tendon or ligament. Because the bone is pulled very hardly by the tendon or the ligament, that's why there is the fracture. Compression fracture, this mostly commonly occurs in the spine. It is related to medical condition which is osteoporosis. I already discussed osteoporosis. It is a medical condition in which there is a loss of the bone density. The bone become very weak and easy to break down. And in the compression fracture, you can see there is a compression. So the portion of vertebra may collapse in the compression fracture. Then stress fracture, because of repeated stress or the strains, this fracture occurs and it is most commonly present or found in the sports person. Then hairline fracture. Hairline fracture, it is very thin crack or break in the bone. There is a minimal trauma to the bone and the surrounding soft tissues. It is a stable fracture. There is no significant bone displacement, and crack is not completely through the entire bone in the hairline fracture. Now, what is the first aid management of this fracture? This is the general management which I will be discussing, and specific management of a specific body part like the collarbone, like the shoulder, like the pelvis, like the limbs. So I will be discussing in the next class. But what is the general management of the fracture? First aid management of the fracture, I will discuss this. First, scene safety is necessary. You have to assess the or check the safety, whether the environment is safe or not. Then after scene safety check, then assess the injured area. If you find that the injury is very severe, call for the emergency help. Now, what are the cases in which there is a need of emergency help? For example, the person is unresponsive, means the person is not responding to your uh, stimuli, to your stimulus. Person is not breathing, person's carotid pulse is absent. In that case, there is a need to perform the CPR. If the person is having heavy bleeding, gentle pressure or movement is causing pain, the limb or joint appears deformed, the bone has pierced the skin, extremity of the injured arm or leg such as toe or finger, that is very numb or bluish, and there is a suspicion that bone is broken in the neck, head or the back. In all these conditions, there is a need of calling the emergency help. Do not delay of taking the emergency help. Now, if there is a bleeding from the wound, there is a fracture also and there is bleeding also, first attempt to stop the bleeding. The management of a broken bone can be delayed, but the bleeding stoppage is necessary before that. So apply the pressure around the wound but not over the protruding bone. Okay, then cover the wound with a sterile dressing, or if there is no any sterile dressing, then can use a clean cloth. Then secure the dressing with the bandage. Now in the fracture part there is a need to immobilize that part. So you have to advise the patient to keep still. It means the person should not move. Reassure the patient. Apply a splint. I will show you what is a splint. It is used for immobilization. Then if there is no any splint, then this injured part can be supported, right, by holding the joint which is above and below the injured area. This is a type of splint. So splint are most commonly used for the limbs, but not for other parts. For example, if the person is having fracture of the pelvis or torso. Now if there is no any splint available, like artificial or the commercial splint is not available, you can also make a splint. What you can do, you can use cardboard, plastic, branch, stick, metal rod, any newspaper, magazine. Okay, on either side of the injury you can use all these to support the bone. Then you will tie this with the tape, string, rope, cord, rubber tubing, leather belt, necktie or scarf. Now when you are splinting, you have to allow movement in the adjacent joints and do not secure them too tightly so that blood circulation can be appropriately allowed. This is the newspaper which is used for splinting and the scarf. Then the cardboards are used along with the bandage. Then this is the splinting of the finger, in which the ice cream stick is used. Then cardboards are used. So this is the immobilization. First you check the injury, its severity, then you call for the emergency help. If there is any bleeding, you try to stop that bleeding. Then you immobilize the injured part. Now there is a need to apply the ice because it will reduce the pain, it will reduce the swelling, it will reduce the bleeding. So apply the ice, but do not directly put the ice over the injured part. Roll it over a cloth and then place it at the injured portion. Now after this you have to monitor for the signs of shock. For example, if the patient is feeling faint, dizziness, pale complexion, cold sweats. Cold sweats mean person is feeling chill in body along with the abnormal sweating, rapid breathing, increased heart rate, person is having confusion or there is a irrational panic. If there is a shock, treat it and then shift the casualty to the hospital. So this is the general management of the fracture, in which you will check for the scene safety, assess the injured area, then you will call emergency help, then you will stop the bleeding, then you will immobilize the part, then you will apply the ice. After that you will continuously monitor the patient for the shock. If shock is present, treat the shock and then shift casualty to the hospital. These are two most important things. You do not need to move the person if the broken bone is stable. Unless the broken bone is stable, do not move the person. For example, the person is having elbow fracture, that is arm, upper arm fracture. So Until and unless you place a splint over there, do not move that part. Also, if there is a suspicion that there is a suspect that the person suspects that there is a injured hip, pelvis, neck or spine injury, do not move the person because it will further damage the spine. Now we discuss the general management. Now we will come to the specific first aid management. For example, if the person is having any spinal injury, head and neck, most commonly in the road traffic accident, the person may fall from the bike or the scooter into the road. So in that cases that there may be any head injury, the person may have a bleeding from the head, there may be not any bleeding. So in that cases, what are the first aid management of the spinal injury, head and the neck? So first we should know what are the signs and symptoms. First, bleeding from any side, changes in the head, neck and back, means the normal sign and normal the function of the spinal head and neck, they are altered. Then moderate to severe pain in the neck and the head, neck stiffness, discharge. This discharge will be cerebrospinal fluid, that is CSF. Then vomiting, any blood evasion, the person is not able to move. Weakness may occur in the arms, leg or numbness may felt in extremities. There may be convulsion, loss of consciousness, loss of bladder and the bowel control. Now the first aid management. So if you find any person with a road accident and if you think that there is a head injury, treat anyone with a head injury as if they have a spinal injury also. Then ask the victim not to move the head, neck, back or do not move the victim. Recognize the symptoms of spinal injury which we already discussed. Stabilize the victim. Now keep the victim totally still. There is no any need to move the patient unnecessarily. Now hold the neck and the head to prevent them from moving until emergency care arrives. This is done by using this collar use, and if collar is not present, not available, the first aid person which is giving the first aid may use the newspapers also for the stabilization of the head and the neck. Then move the victim when absolutely necessary. If there is a need, if there is a requirement of moving, then only move the victim. For example, the scene is not safe. Then how to move the victim? Grab the shirt collar of the victim, use the forearms to support the head, and then pull the body in a straight line. Always pull the body in a straight line, never in the sideways. Second, hold the victim, pull them by both feet and the shoulders. Hold the victim, pull them by both feet in a straight line, or also both shoulders and both arms can be pulled over their shoulders. But do not pull by one arm as this will twist the body. Always keep the neck and torso of the person straight and pull in a straight line. There should never be sideways pulling. So this is very important for the spinal injury patient. Now you can also roll over the patient by using the help of other person. How to do this roll over? First, hold the casualty's head. One person will hold the casualty head. Then roll the casualty onto his side. Why we are doing the rollover? Because we do not want to damage the spinal cord of the patient. So we will use the technique of rollover. How to do it? First, hold the patient's head, roll the casualty on his side, Then place the rolled side of sheet against casualty's back. Then lower the casualty back over the roll and to his other side. This is shown in fourth figure. Then in the fifth, unroll the blanket, lay the casualty flat. And in the sixth, all should take hold of the sheet firmly and then move the casualty. This is done as we do the bedding of the person who is unconscious, who is bedridden. So in this way only we have to perform the roll over. Special thing that needs to be remembered, that do not allow the movement of the spinal cord, head and the neck. This is the spinal board which is used in the emergency department. So this can be used for transferring the patient. So we discuss about the first aid management of the spinal injuries, head and neck, and the general management of a patient with fracture. Now the fracture may have many complications. They can be early complications and the late complications. First is shock. Shock may occur if the person is having bleeding, if the bleeding is very massive, or if there is a spinal cord injury, there may be neurogenic shock. Then damage to the surrounding tissues, nerves, because the bone is broken, it may also affect the surrounding tissues and the nerve. Compartment syndrome, there is a damage of the median nerve, and due to which there will be numbness, feeling, tingling sensation in the wrist and the arm. There may be wound infection. Wound infection will only occur if it is a compound or the open fracture. Then thromboembolism. Thromboembolism may occur if there is a obstruction of a blood vessel by a blood clot that has became dislodged from another site in the circulation. So the blood vessels may get obstructed by the blood clot, and this blood clot was formed in other site, then it came to that blood vessel through the circulation. Then fat embolism, it is same, the fat globules will obstruct the blood flow, and because they will get accumulated inside the blood vessels. Now the late complication. Late complication means there may be delay in the union of the bone, or there may be union but it will not be proper, or there may be no union of the bones, or there may be a contracture. Contracture means there may be a shortening and the hardening of the muscles, tendons, other tissues, and it will lead to the deformity of the especially the joints, and then any deformity can also occur. So in today's session we discussed about fracture. It is a break in the continuity of the bone, and there are many types of fracture, but the most common sign and symptoms are there will be a pain, there will be a grating sensation, there may be swelling, there may be tenderness, there may be redness present, there may be bleeding, bruising at the site, unable to use that bone or body part. The general management I discussed about the fracture, and the first aid management if the person is having any spinal injury, head and the neck. So this was all about today's session. Thank you so much.